Okay, this one is called a Whitlock fox squirrel nymph. It's nothing more than the old red fox squirrel we see running around the neighborhoods everywhere. First time I saw this fly, I was on the Gallatin over in Montana, and I caught a few fish, but nothing like the guy that was below me. I knew it was about time to get back to camp. My wife had had dinner ready, so I waded the river. I'm getting my waders, everything off. And I didn't know there was anybody around. And all of a sudden this voice says, "Did you catch any fish?" And that guy about scared me to death. Well, he turned around and there this man was that had been catching all the fish. And so I asked him, "What in the world are you using?" "Well, a Whitlock fox squirrel nymph." Well, I had seen that fly before, but nothing like what I saw that man have on the end of his tippet. So I didn't do anything with the fly for several years. Then I saw it in a book, and I immediately recognized the fly, so I've started tying it. Now, here's another little trick. I'm going to go ahead and weight this fly. I'm going to put a little bit of super glue on it, on the bare hook shank. Not a great deal, just a little bit. And I learned this just not too long ago. I've weighted a lot of flies, but I have never seen this done before. And by the way, I just read that in some parts of the state of Washington, lead or lead wire substitute is now banned. So you want to be kind of careful where you are. All right, I'm going to take just a few wraps with this lead substitute. I'm going to come in now with a pair of smooth-jawed needle nose pliers. I can get my hands out of the way. And I'm going to just squeeze that lead and make it flat. When you put lead wire on a fly, what happens is you get that big lump where the lead starts and stops, and that's kind of a pain in the rear to work around. So if you take your pliers and just mash that lead wire flat and then wrap it on, you don't have that lump. It's a nice smooth transition. And I really like it. It's made a lot of difference in the way some of my flies look. Then just make sure that that tag's all bound down. Then I'll go ahead and wrap my tying thread to the rear. Now this particular fly, I have pinched the barb on the hook. This particular fly is a size 14, and this is the size I use primarily. Now, if I'm going to tie this larger than a 14, I'm going to put a soft hackle up front of Hungarian partridge on it. But on the smaller ones like this, I don't rivet. I don't do anything with it that way. I'm going to take just a small clump of this red fox squirrel, guard hairs and all. I'm going to pull out a little bit of the underfur. That's still a little bit thicker than I want. And keep it short and tie it down. This fly will represent a caddis in the water. It is very, very similar to a gold-ribbed hare's ear, just slightly different. What I've done now with this fur, I've taken that red fox squirrel hair right off that skin, but you can see it's very light color. I've mixed it with a tan antron. I'm going to go ahead and dub this on the rear only, up to the thorax area. And you don't need a whole lot of dubbing. I tell people all the time, just make a fuzzy thread. That's all you need. You don't have to. I used to team teach with an old guy, beginner fly tying, and he would walk around the room while we were dubbing. And I'll never forget, "My God, boy, you're not knitting a sweater. Get half of that dubbing off of there." So there's the light dubbing on. Start right at the rear and come to the thorax. You see how that will naturally taper up? There's the light. Now this part is just the plain old natural fox squirrel. And I really like the transition it gives. It goes from light to dark, and I just really like it. I have used this fly both in lake and stream, and it does work. It does work very well. I weight almost all of them. Whether or not that's necessary or not, I don't know. It just seems to work best for me. Now you can see how that color switches so dramatically, and whether or not that makes a difference to the fish, I don't know. Always arguments about whether fish can actually see color. I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I've never heard a fish say one way or the other whether they can or can't, so I can't answer that. But there's a Whitlocks fox squirrel nymph. You can definitely see the difference in transition in the two colors, and this fly has worked very well. But the thing that I like about it as well as anything is that lead wire mashing the barb of it down, or the mashing it flat and then wrapping it on. You can see what a smooth transition it gives for the taper both directions. There's a Whitlock fox squirrel nymph. Very simple fly, very easy material to come by. Try it, I'll bet you'll like this one.